All right, we're going to do a real fat, hard, cold open for this. I'm live here with Jonathan Odom from Alabama Bigfoot Special Edition. What is going on, Jonathan? We've been trying to do this for a little while.
Nothing much, man. Just weather's changing, everything's hollering, and so it's a good time to be hunting Bigfoot.
You said they were getting mouthy lately.
What I mean by that, they just holler a lot. I guess in the spring from a long summer, maybe they just holler a whole lot. And usually by mouthy, that's what I mean. They whoop a lot, holler a lot. Just they really cut up a lot. I guess because it's getting cooler. That's what I think.
Yeah, they kind of operate a lot like deer and squirrel and everything. Just go nuts when it gets cool snap.
Yeah, I mean it seems to be like that from the audio recorders and trying to get them to be seen, unless it's an accident. So yeah, I mean, who knows? What we know about the creatures is very little, I guess. You know.
So you do we've talked a few times on the phone, full disclosure, everybody listening. You do a ton of research. Could you describe the process of the audio recording you were talking about with me? Like how long you leave them out there, what you look for?
Where we went, me and my wife went this weekend. I've had audio recorders in this area for a long time, and it's the easiest way to get a sampling of what's in the woods without having to spend 14 days straight out there. So what I do is I put it out an audio recorder in places in the woods where I've had past encounters, past sightings, and I'll let it sit out there. And what I'll do over a couple of years, I'll keep them in the same area, and I'll have a running tally of pretty much what's in the area, whether there's coyotes or whatever wildlife's in the area. Then it kind of maximizes the time uh, for when you're Bigfoot hunting. Now I've had audio recorders out, had nothing on them, and then have a Bigfoot sighting. And then I've had audio recorders with Bigfoot on them, and you go out there and it's totally silent. So it's a lot of hit and miss. It's kind of like a backyard scientist as much as it can be, and it's just I don't know, it's cat and mouse. And I've got very lucky with the footage that I do have. Just very lucky, you know.
Yeah, it sounds almost like the stuff whenever we talk back and forth, like you're like a registered doctoral in biology. The methods you go through. Come on, unmute.
I got double Wi-Fi on because in case of better. Well, I mean, it's not that I have a wildlife. I try to. If you were gonna if you're going to present your evidence in a court of law, would it stand up? And that's the biggest problem I have now in the Bigfoot community, is because everybody wants to circle pictures that would not hold up in the court of law. So I do take it serious. What I do, I've had to do an approach that worked for me. The biggest thing with Bigfoot hunting is time. You know, you don't know how much time you have. You know, and when you're out there, you got to maximize your time by equipment, and that's where the audio recorders help a whole lot. If I have a family that calls me that has it's a private case, and they think they have Bigfoot on, the first thing I'll do is I'll put an audio recorder out there because you'll hear everything that's going on in a month. And with the recorders I've had out, it's just basically trying to get your odds better to see them, you know. And then we've come out of the woods, and somebody's called a report in right where we were at just hours later. So it's hit and miss. Excuse me. I try to do it as scientifically as I can because there's a lot of ways you can do this with the audio recorders. For instance, if you go outside where the audio recorder is and you measure a mile and you holler as much as you can pretty much tell by the audio recorder and the strength of the yell how close the creatures are to the audio recorder sometimes. So it's kind of it's kind of like being a scientist, I guess, in a way, in an odd sort of way, you know.
I mean, you're using the heck out of the scientific method, whether you know it or not. Especially zeroing them in with that kind of strategy. It's the smartest thing.
Well, and it's hit or miss, and that's what's crazy because you know we may have an audio recorder that may have them in the area. Okay, that's fine and dandy. Number one, number two factor is if they're in the area, are you interested enough that they're going to come investigate you? Because you're not going to hunt these things down. You're not going to be so badass that you're just going to jump on them. And number three, are you interested enough to bring them in? One of the Bigfoot hunters I know for years talked about how that he would roast viney weenies and spay them, and he would get them to come in like that. And you know what? It's a lot of a probability you can have them in the area and them not paying attention to you. We've had them do that. You know, hear them hollering, but just never come in. And it's I found out to maximize my time, I had to do certain methods that was also used to hunt men. But these things are so much more smarter. Seems like, you know.
It's crazy how I hear from everybody that I talk to about how much smarter they are than an actual person, but yet at the same time they they love peanut butter and toy cars.
Well, and that's stories. A lot of real Bigfoot hunting and real Bigfoot encounters, you have to separate the stories. The resurgence in Bigfoot in the world has helped a whole lot, but it's also brought a lot of bullshit to the world because there's a lot of stories told. There's a lot of stories told that have no validation. One of the biggest things that I encountered first off when hunting Bigfoot is these people that like to humanize it. You know, they like to feed it. It's my friend. This is my buddy. And then when you politely corner them to leave an audio recorder or a thermal camera that you know will get them dead to rights, they don't want to do that. And so I've quickly had to distinguish my methods from talking to actually doing. And I can pretty much tell pretty much real fast whether a person's a bullshit artist, where they actually hunt Bigfoot, they talk Bigfoot, or they just dream about Bigfoot. And there is a distinction, especially with Bigfoot investigators. And it's very simple, yet people make it very hard, you know.
That's interesting because I have a lot of experience with the I don't want to put any evidence, any cameras or anything out when I ask anybody as well.
Well,
I'll ask them.
They're bullshit artists because I have a lot of people I deal with that have Bigfoot on their property. I haven't wasted the time to go to this property because I knew by them answering and by interviewing people that lived around them, neighbors, that they were just bullshit. And then there's people that legitimately have Bigfoot on their property that will not say a word. Just like people, they'll call people in like me, and it's so. And it is, and I understand that everybody wants to have a Bigfoot encounter. Everybody wants to have a UFO encounter. Everybody wants to have an encounter. But if it happened as much as we say it did, I mean, and you know, it's just like the Dogman thing. You know, a lot of my Bigfoot reports I've took over 13,000 last 10 years. And this is Bigfoot, Dogman, UFO, every kind of gamut that you can get with the paranormal. The stuff with the Dogman is a cultural thing because the reports have never reflected. I've got reports where it said it looked like a wolf, but nothing that it looked like a Dogman. I've never got a Bigfoot report that it had a snout until the last 2 years. And what I think happens is I think whether the exposure for Bigfoot is great, it also taints the pool. And if you know anything about what's happening in the world today, there's a lot of disinformation in the world. And so, but it's good. I love to hear stories. I can tell which stories are bullshit, which are not, pretty much, because I've did so much of it, heard so much. And it's a fascinating subject, and I'll do it till the day I die. We went this out Friday night. We went out Friday night, and we had one of the. You can't script this, just cannot do it, and we go out quite a bit, and it's just TV scripted a whole lot, you know, and that's good because it's good for
to say the least.
Yeah, you know, it'll happen in 10 seconds of just terror, and the rest just bone quiet, you know.
Yeah, they embellish a ton of those Finding Bigfoot stories and stuff, and those documentaries.
Well, you know, and but you know, it does make it interesting, and it gets people that that maybe have had an encounter to tell an encounter. I mean, there was a lot of in the 70s and 80s. There was a couple of Bigfoot happenings that happened east of Coleman, and I talked with a lot of people that worked the case, a lot of people that actually had it happen to them, and it was really cool, interesting stuff what this creature was doing, and it never made it out. And then some people started talking, and it's kind of revived it. It's kind of cool. There's a lot of Bigfoot history in Alabama. People just don't realize it.
I've been told that a lot about the density of them in this state. I never really realized it. And growing up in the mountainous, one of the mountainous counties in the state, you think I would have heard more about it up there.
Well, the reason is people don't talk about it. The first people get branded crazy. A lot of
Yeah.
coon hunters talking about it. A lot of people that hunt. I mean, I know federal judges that seen it. I've seen Auburn professors, Mississippi State professors that seen it. I mean, there's a lot of people see it, and it's just in Alabama. You know, they don't go over 6, 7, 7 feet. They're real small, almost like a Wookiee looking kind of thing. I've seen them very small, about 3 feet up to 7, and they're smaller than they would be anywhere else. I think a lot of the ones in Mississippi are smaller too. The ones in Georgia are kind of big. When you're going up into the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I personally believe there's probably 3 or 4 over 30 or 40 square miles, easy. And the reason why is it's easy to hide in plain sight. You can't count, 5 or 6 deer during the day unless you're somewhere where there's a lot of deer. And then you'll see them if it's in the rut. And I think they've always been here. We don't pay attention. We don't stay in the woods a whole lot. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like you were saying, they'd be present in a place that's like 8 or 10 acres, just in the middle of a residential area. Nobody will notice they're there.
Well, and there's a lot of places in Alabama like that. There's several places. Margaret, Alabama's got them on. There's mining land they butt up to. Everybody in the community knows that there. People hear them hollering all the time in the subdivision where the water treatment plant's close to, and it's like common knowledge. And then somebody will wreck their car, they'll see it, and then they'll wreck their car and get freaked out, and they'll call me. And I've been out there probably 20 or 30 times. It's out there, and it's just every once in a while it slips up and gets seen.
Are there any like famous Alabama Bigfoot stories involving like police or game warden kind of thing like that, where one gets shot or one gets hit?
No, there's the one in Coleman that I talked about where his face was disfigured. A lot of police officers, sheriff's department guys saw that one. None that I mean, there's a lot of stories in Alabama. None that there was one in Anniston. Supposedly a circus train had wrecked and a monkey had got loose and a guy was actually hoaxing. But that was proven to not be in history because it was repeated in a lot of different towns in America. It was kind of like what's it called?
It's an urban legend.
It's an urban legend. Yeah. It kind of fits the pattern. And it was mentioned in the newspaper in the documents I think in the 70s when the Legend of Boggy Creek came out. There was a lot of resurgence of Bigfoot. There was some things, but nothing really, really big, I guess. I don't know. I'm still researching a lot of history myself with Bigfoot, in Alabama.
Yeah, I never knew how deep it kind of went as far as people that went actually looking for them like you do. I just thought it was people who saw them haphazardly in the woods hiking, maybe a farmer that has them on their place. I didn't realize there was like giant swaths of folks that go out with actual methods.
Well, I know.
Not giant.
I know 5 guys that do it like I do, that spend the money that I do, that go out and camp. 2 of them are in Alabama, 1 is North Carolina, 1 is in Tennessee. Nobody don't really do it anymore. A lot of people talk about it. A lot of people put on a lot of stuff on Facebook. And, a lot of the reason with Facebook, I put stuff on all the time, but there's nothing happening because that in its essence is true Bigfoot happening. And the ones that actually do a lot of investigations. I mean, you got a couple of BR4O guys, but they don't do shit. They never have did shit. They're not going to do shit ever in Alabama because they're just, and I don't know. There's always been a good couple of them in Alabama, and they just basically fade out of history. You know, out there and have seen it with their eye, like we have with their eyes, daylight, nighttime, and with thermal and night vision. And at this point, we know it's out there. It's just I like taking people out. We take new people out, and when we take them out, the creatures I don't know, they get kind of weird. They get crazy with new people.
I definitely got to go.
Oh yeah, we took a lot of people out. We've had some fun experiences, had some crazy experiences. The place that we went to Friday night, I did several hunts there, YouTube hunts, regular hunts, and it's in a weird area. And when we got back there Friday, there was one section that we were in. It just rained, and it stopped, and it rained, and it stopped, and it rained, and the birds got really weird. The turkeys, you could hear turkeys all over, and then everything got dead silent. And we found that grave that I was looking for years ago, and we were camped really close to it, but we didn't feel anything really ominous. It was just the wood, that patch of woods. I don't know if it's paranormal or what, but it was just. We don't know what we got on the things. We're still reviewing a lot of footage. We shoot a lot of footage usually. So.
Yeah, you were saying you did a lot of a deep dive into the stuff that the footage and the audio, so it takes you forever to get to it. So you might have something buried you don't even know about.
Well, yeah, because a lot of times when I'll shoot a camp, I'll shoot 26 hours straight.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the computer, I'll take the little Jackery, the little box of power, and I'll take my computer, I'll dump everything off on the hard drive, reset the computers, set up camp, we'll goof off whatever we're doing. I'll put it back up. Sometimes I'll put it up in this guy, up in this tree. Sometimes I don't. Hook a battery pack up. I can get probably 26, 27 hours straight. So yeah, it takes time to go through it.
Yeah, that's like a homework assignment almost. That's like a full-time job.
Well, when I do audio with what I do is, since I have 16 to 17 days per file, I will go in Audacity and I will set it up with the spectrogram, and I'll look like I can look at 8 hours of audio and not miss anything and do it in like an hour. I can tell you what a train looks like on the spectrogram. My wife can tell you what a train looks like. I can tell you what birds look like. I can tell you, usually the Bigfoot are in a certain range on the spectrogram. The human voice is down here. That's how you can quickly tell if one is, if somebody's hoaxed it, because there's a spectrogram difference through the megahertz. And so trains are like, wah, 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 wah. So they're 4 dashes. Lightning has dashes. Bigfoot has dashes. Coyotes have certain little. So I can read the signature, pull the player up on it, see what it is, and then go on. So I can combine a month, probably 3 or 4 hours, and not miss nothing. Get everything. Do an audio log of everything probably every 15 minutes. One of the things that I'm really playing with now is I'm finding out that a lot of the construction companies are doing the time-lapse cameras that will film for like 19 or 20 days. And if we can do something like that with a time-lapse camera, then I'll have pretty much a program that I can put in the woods, self-contained, and kind of just be an evidence getter, and then go back and retrieve it. Yeah. But the biggest thing is being out in the woods doing it. Time is the enemy,
Wait, are the construction companies doing it? Oh, just for their new building, so they can post that when they're done.
So basically, I'm going to take that camera and adapt it to a woods environment, basically.
I was thinking the construction companies are doing it to see Bigfoot so they can build. I'm like, I'm way off over here.
No. I'm talking about using the technology that they invented for Bigfoot.
Yeah, I was like, man, they really got the Forestry Service by the balls at that point. They're putting out just to make sure there's no Bigfoot there.
But the Forest Service, you have to realize, the Forest Service reports a lot of stuff to me. I've made a lot of friends, deep connections with people that are in the Forest Service, nice to them, just being a good, and they tell you things. So a lot of the Forest Service is underfunded. That's why we're having all these forest fires a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
But they're a valuable source of information for people that will they'll talk to you if they know you're not gonna make fun of them.
That'd be a good connection to have.
And it's not hard. Just be nice to people you meet in the
Mm-hmm.
woods, and just most of them. I've took years to foster these relationships.
Yeah, I can't imagine that being something that would just come along and just in a meeting at a casual rest stop. That's something that builds. That's years of trust.
No, well, and when I first started doing it, I'd be riding through the forest and I would see them working. I'd stop and have a cooler full of ice and little Debbie's and, hey guys, how know y'all out here working? Because they would see me enough and I'd see them and they'd know what I was doing. And then they would tease the crap out of me, but then again they would start telling me things. Hey, we heard about this, and we were talking in the shop of that. We need to tell you this story, and it was cool because it opened up I heard a lot of stuff I didn't know about in the forest. Odd areas. I had one of them tell me he got transferred. He said, "Don't go toward this area," and what did I first do? Went right toward that area. It was a lot of weird stuff in that area. He was right. So, and now that I've got the electric bike, we got big plans for that.
You're gonna end up being a little too quiet with that. End up scaring something.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. My son, he tells me all the time when he's going hunting his electric bike, he sneaks right up on him, and yeah, I mean that's. But then again, I don't, catch one unassuming he's by himself and he closes out the bike or something, So
it'll look like the beef jerky commercial at some point. Oh my God! Come on. Mute.
That pedal assist works really good.
Those guys in the UK I talked to all have the electric bikes. I don't even think anybody has a car over there anymore.
Past these gates that they're half the time, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're. I don't know, there's always an excuse. So with electric bike, we can just get right past the gate and be done with it.
Mm-hmm. Slip it under it if you have to.
Oh yeah.
Come on. So what is your your favorite story that happened to you while you're out there Bigfoot hunting? Like the most intense sighting or your favorite sighting? I don't want to pigeonhole you into one particular group.
Oh no. My favorite here recently is me and my wife. My dad gave me a camping trailer and we had hauled it way back off one of the Forest Service roads. And it was off another road into a field. And I mean, the light pollution was just amazing. There was no light pollution. You could see the stars. And we got out there and got the camp set up, got out there smoothly, and just was having a good old time and fell asleep. So we got up and we went to the camper and got the dog situated and got to sleep. And she woke me up. We heard a creature. And it was really loud. It was really close.
Oh, and the creature got Odom. This feels like when we were had Randy from Minnesota on. Oh, there you are.
Exactly. So I woke up. The dog woke up, freaking out. My wife woke up, and we went back to sleep. And she told me the next morning. She says, "You got that on recorder, didn't you?" And well, I didn't push record. I did something I get on people all the time. I did not push record, but it was the thing. It went off again. There we go. Killing me. There we go. This internet. I'm sorry, my friend. You there?
Oh yeah, I'm here. I heard you cutting out, but I still see your video a little bit. Yeah, the old internet will do you when you start talking about these Bigfoot. I've noticed that. The better the Bigfoot story, the worse the internet.
No, is it on?
Mm-hmm. I can see you. Choppy.
There we go. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it happened.
Yeah, that's the truth. Gremlins.
Especially with this
There we
topic.
go. Yeah, it gets weird. But the thing was, I didn't leave the recorder out, and we missed a really good audio. It was really close. She heard it, and it was just fun at the time because I had a lot of my friends about push and record. Do not, don't tell me a story, push record. Well,
Yeah, give me some footage or something. There was one guy I had on here from where was that, Arkansas. He had less than 1 gigabit of or megabit of speed, and you couldn't even see him half the time. It was hilarious. He kept blaming the gamers. Come on, unmute. Having some issues there. It happens though. Yep. Go to the comment. It's like you bounded back. So anybody in the comments have a question, we can throw them up there. We're still just chit-chatting away, fighting through the old Monday afternoon gremlins.
Good old gremlins.
So is it okay to talk about the event in mid-November, or is that close hold still?
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, go right ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I plan on coming at this juncture unless the tornado comes or something.
Yeah, November 11th, we're going to have a camp out. We've had it every year, probably the last 3 or 4 years. It's got bigger and bigger. We usually have Bigfoot hunters from out of state, personal ones that I know that do a lot of private stuff. And it's going to be November 11th, one day. We usually have 2 days. We have dinner on the ground, but we're just going to do one day this year instead of 2. And last year we had about 120, 130 people show up. We have a big circle, have a big fire, and I think you can try to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Good deal.
Yeah, I had an interview today with Linda Eastburn, and I kind of tried out what I would talk about there. And so I'm like, yeah, I think I got it. I'll just use my standard when I'm a podcast guest spiel. And plus, I start getting kind of giddy and adrenaline starts going. I'll tell them what I'll do a comedy bit.
Yeah, well, hey, we've had a lot of Alabama folks come and talk, and they say the same thing, that they're nervous. I'm like, we're just going to talk about Bigfoot, and most of people are very curious. They'll ask questions. They want to know.
I'm not really nervous about the speaking portion.
Oh, you'll do fine.
Yeah. I mean, I do a podcast, so I speak to folks, and I'm the class clown at work. So it's just more of a coming up with something relevant to the crowd because they've all seen Bigfoot, and I have Bigfoot on my mug, and that's about the equivalent.
But I've seen a lot. It takes people that have seen it that will talk about it. It's a brave thing for some people to talk about it, because to talk about it is to admit it. To admit it is to say it happened, and to happen say it's real. And it's really crazy that the psychology of a Bigfoot experience is the same thing as a paranormal experience, same thing as a UFO, and we're in a heyday of it. I think.
I think I described a Bigfoot experiences. I said, for all intents and purposes, it's the same as seeing a ghost for a human.
Yeah. And in the woods, when people see it, the ones I've seen, it's like you prepare for it, but you don't prepare for it. But you prepare for it, and I have. It's funny because a lot of men in the South and in out west, they talk about, well, if I see it, I'm just gonna pow, I'm gonna blow it away, and then like we had a ranger. I had a ranger that teased me for years about it, and he said, "If I see it, I'm gonna blow it away." Well, him and his wife saw it, and I asked him, "But did you get that shot off?" And he said, "Man, I wasn't even thinking about a gun. I was just, it was just like, okay, like this is a ghost. This is something. This is nuts, you know." And that's always cool to talk to people to have like you do to have the experience. I never get tired of. I listen to Spooked online where people tell their ghost stories, and then I just love hearing people's ghost stories and Bigfoot stories. You know.
Yeah, Linda asked me today what I love about doing a podcast, and I said the stories. I'm sitting here soaking them in. Like I accidentally got a history minor at Alabama just because I could sit and listen to stories for the whole time. My advisor said, "You know, you got enough history classes to have a minor." I'm like, "What?" And I said, "I just like taking history classes. It just comes natural."
Well, you know, and a lot of the stories begin with some fact in Alabama. You know, there was some. I did a lot of genealogy. I'm good at finding stuff online, and I had got reports that down below Tuscaloosa for a long time that there was an island called Ape Island, and with some of the people in the Museum of Natural History of Alabama, we got to looking for it, and it never existed, but it was a good story. Because you would think, because you know the topo maps from the 1890s every 10 years updated. So a lot of the topo maps now are overlaid with the present, so you can find out stuff like that. But you know, somebody's grandpa heard it, and that's what's cool about it is there's always some fact and some story. You know.
Pawpaw's always good for an urban legend.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Alabama's got their share.
Ooh, don't they?
Yes, they do.
There's a plantation where I grew up. My family lived there for 2 or 3 generations. Like, and my grandparents and aunts and uncles worked that land and were sharecroppers forever. It's like 100 years worth of history, and there's a house on it still. And everybody says it's haunted, and like everybody in my family was like, "No, it's not, unless we would just sleep really hard."
Yeah, but you know, I work at a school, and that school has seen a lot 30 or 40 years of kids, and that energy, I believe that energy stays behind. I've had a lot of weird stuff happen in this school, and it has to stay behind in some form, you know.
Oh yeah, that's just paranormal.
Yeah, yeah. Now I've had some weird stuff happen in the school I work at. I've had some crazy shit, and it's weird because a lot of the stuff that happens in the woods, I've seen several ghosts in the woods. I've had buddies that seen ghosts in the woods, and it happens in the woods too. A lot of people are just not out there to see it, I believe. You know.
Yeah, the ones like there could be like a town overgrown in the woods, just like in the Outer Banks. There's an entire city that's overgrown. So who knows what happens out there?
Oh yeah. Well, you know, it's some of them. Some of the old towns in Mississippi that time has kind of just done away with. I love stuff like that. The hidden stuff that has been left behind in cities and towns, and it's just fascinating. It's a part of, and it's just strange history. I've always loved strange stuff. You know.
Yeah, the history of the South alone, the way it was colonized by like 3 different countries, and you got Mardi Gras in Mobile, you got Mardi Gras in Louisiana, and Canadian French refugees deposited in Louisiana. Just a whole state. That's another country.
Oh yeah,
that alone is fascinating.
Well, and you know, Charleston, all the river cities. You know, it's just. I mean, I don't know how you can walk through New Orleans and not see a ghost. It's so old. You know. God. What part of Alabama is your family from?
Sorry, I'm not ignoring you.
No. Did you? You said you grew up in Alabama or in the South, or?
I disconnected my AirPods. Yeah, I grew up in North Alabama, north of Scottsboro. I'm from here.
All right. So me and my wife were in Scottsboro one time. We had done an unclaimed baggage, and we were coming back from Gunners, going falling on the lake at Gunnersville, and we come across this cemetery. Have you seen them cemeteries that have all the iron bars over the graves?
Oh yeah.
Them are the coolest things. We stopped and we talked to the people and saw them, and I had never seen them before. It was fascinating.
Yeah, Gunnersville is like a whole different feeling.
Oh yeah, they've got some creatures up there that's aggressive, very aggressive. They'll let you know real fast. You're not supposed to be here, or they say they do. You know.
And it's the telltale. They follow the river.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of caves up there too around that would be the perfect place for. I know the Native Americans utilize them. I don't know if Bigfoot uses. I don't think they go very. I think they use probably the openings, but not very far in. But who knows? It may surprise us. Yeah. That's what they are.
Bigfoot is what?
I said a lot of people theorize that Bigfoot to navigate, but as soon as I say something don't happen, I'm proven wrong. So,
especially in that world.
Yeah, but Alabama is relatively new. Georgia, Georgia with a gold rush coming out of Georgia going into Alabama, and a lot of the gold in Alabama was just not profitable. And then 1849, the gold hit in California, and everybody left Alabama. But a lot of the mountains in North Georgia have a lot of creatures in them. There's a lot of sightings up there. David Baraka, that does the Bigfoot Museum, he collects a lot of them.
Yeah, I've got a guy that lives in Blue Ridge, just down the road from that. I'm trying to get, like, he does UFO sightings and stuff too. Trying to get like a whole thing going on over there.
Oh, Blue Ridge, man, yeah, it's a pretty little town too. It's very, very esoteric. It's a pretty little town. Me and Kristen love to go there. It's very, it's just different.
I like how it feels like the Smokies, but it's not like all overblown like the Smokies. It's like the same outdoorsy feeling, but not.
Oh yeah,
no Hatfields and McCoys.
Oh yeah, and from Alabama, I mean, from us, it's like 2 hours, and it's mountains. You got, like you said, a lot of Forest Service roads that you can drive and use a thermal on. It's pretty country.
I got invited on a Bigfoot expedition a week before your thing, and so I'm going to see if I can. November's going to be like my month of Bigfoot.
Yeah,
down there past you.
Yeah, and it's most of the Bigfoot expeditions are pretty good because when you get a group of people on there, a lot of times the creatures get real curious. So yeah, I mean, and it's fun too. It's fun being out in the woods looking for it. And
I don't know that I'm allowed to say who I'm going to be with yet, so that's why I'm just going to say it's a group and it's kind of down by you. But
well, hey, just go have fun.
Yeah.
The main thing is go have fun, enjoy it. There's a lot of stuff out there.
I'll tell you what going with you and what going with them, and like in my mind, the main thing I want to know is what's the difference in the sound that they make and the sound that I grew up hearing in the woods. Because I grew up in the woods, and so I'm like, what am I listening for? And when I hear something I'm not used to, that's going to freak me out and make my adrenaline. I can't wait for that to happen.
So what is the question again? I'm sorry.
Sorry, I was rambling.
No. What is it?
No, going out like big actual places that have known like Bigfoot present. And the sound that they make that's different than the actual sound that I'm used to in the woods. That's if I hear something I'm not used to hearing, that's gonna really get my adrenaline going. I can't wait for that to happen.
Well, and it will. It because what we did, the way I do it is if you go out with us, we'll go out to a place, we'll go out again, and then we'll walk even further. And we don't use flashlights. We let our eyes get adjusted to the outside, and then when we're out there, we'll sit up and we'll get the thermal out. The best thing to approach to get them to come to us. And when you hear them, there's several places I can take you that when we go out there, if they're out there, as soon as you get out of the car, you're gonna know it, and I'll know it too. It's almost like if you're on the Serengeti and there's a lion out there, and he's roaming, and it's almost like that. And then a lot of times, like when I go out by myself or with my wife, nothing happens. But when we bring somebody, it's almost like they like to show out. It's weird. It's like, come on, guys, y'all did this with me, and so you'll know instantly. And you've heard a lot of the Bigfoot yells online. Have you heard a lot of them?
Oh yeah.
And they pretty much follow pretty much like that. Usually the coyotes will set them off, or they'll set the coyotes off, and you'll definitely be you'll be alive for a little bit.
That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm going to do a little bit more research into actual audio recordings just to get to listen to get a feel for what I'm listening for out there. The whoops and the yells and the screams. Is there a difference in the yell and the scream?
Yeah, I mean, they do something that they do something where they sound like a pack of howler monkeys. They do something. They of course the whoops and the screams. You can tell pretty much the difference between the coy wolf and the coyote or the Bigfoot yell. Usually, when on a spectrogram, they're really high above the humans. They're in a specific range. I've heard them holler long. I've heard them holler. I've heard them jump coyotes off, and the coyotes get really excited, and then them do something to the coyotes, or the coyotes go to hollering, and then go totally quiet. And they do all kinds of different things. I'll if I get any good yells on this one that we got Friday, the week before, I'll send them to you, kind of like an example of what you can hear.
Yeah, just honestly, I don't know what I don't know.
Well, it's like the first time you go
say that.
It's like the first time you go on a tour, Iraq, Afghanistan. I did 2 tours in Iraq, 3 in Afghanistan, and it's like each tour you don't know what you don't know, and that's part of the fun of Bigfoot hunting. I will put myself in situations where I know that I'll give a response, but I also know they're not going to do anything. The quickest way to bring attention to themselves is to hurt a human being, and they're not going to do that.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I did everything I possibly could to get their attention. I did the Sierra sounds. That gets response a lot of times, but you worry, is this the kind of response? Are they going to come up here and be?
Don't know what you're saying.
Exactly. Am I cussing out their mom or something? I'm really going to piss them off,
Maybe you're talking dirty to them. That's the worst case scenario.
Exactly. It's and then again, I had a old Bigfoot hunter up at Creepy Mountain where they did Finding Bigfoot. He said if you wanted to get them to talk, do Blessed Assurance, Chet Atkins guitar. And I did not believe him till I did it.
What song was that?
It was Chet Atkins, Blessed Assurance guitar. And I downloaded it on my playlist, and I got the audio recorder out and played it. And from about 15 seconds toward the end of the song, after the song's dead, you can hear them doing kind of like a chanting thing, like the samurai talk. And that night freaked me out because it worked. I didn't expect it to work, but I've done a lot of stuff like that. Just what worked, what sticks to the wall,
That's not surprising because there's certain songs that make dogs howl.
Yeah, that's the truth.
That is the truth.
Yeah, I mean, but it was like, but then again, the same time, the same place, I took people out that played guitars, and they got a response from them. So, who knows?
Makes you wonder if that's that tone.
Yeah, or something with some frequency or something. I mean, I don't know. It makes you wonder a lot of things because there's an oddity to it,
Because you could sit there with the new puppy and start going whoa, 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 and that thing will start going ape shit. So like,
yep,
literally,
a big shit. Oh yeah. So let me know when you want to go, and plan on speaking at the conference if you want to, and just talk about. Right for you to talk about some of the people you've interviewed, what you think about them, what you think about Bigfoot, UFO, just give your opinion. Because there'll be a lot of people will be asking a lot of questions.
I've got plenty of like people I've talked to, like commonalities I've heard. I've got to offer something valuable to the community. I mean, I've talked to everybody. It's crazy. Like I look at them and they're on TV and shit.
Yeah, well, and the main thing is it's a community. It's like anything else. It's got a good and it's bad, and it's like egos. Yeah, and you just have to. there's people out there that want to be. There's people that be out there that do it. There's people that want to be in the tour. I've had people that wanted the notoriety and Bigfoot hunt a couple of times and then get a really good scary encounter and then they want nothing to do with it. I'm like, well, come on, man, this happens. This happens. This is part of it. So
I would think that would wear off. Like if you had a bad, scary encounter, if you didn't get killed, you'd want it again as soon as the fear the adrenaline went away.
Well, you do, but it's weird. It's like a combat operation. You survive from a certain point, you're like, oh, nothing's gonna happen, and then it gets to you. Mr. Murphy shows up. You'll like I'll fall in a hole filming with two of the guys, and we'll laugh spend 30 minutes trying to get me out of the damn hole, and we have crazy stuff happen. But while we're getting out of the hole, we'll have two wood knocks, and you're just like. Tactically, they pick the most opportune. And it's crazy because we've left areas camping and then a report or somebody just saw one cross the road. I'm like, man, the hell, cross the road while we're there shooting cameras, But it's just luck. A lot of it's luck, Bobby. Luck.
I would say that's the high 90 percentile of that particular field of
interest. And when I take somebody like you and I take anybody else, I will take them to a high probable area because I'm not going to waste your time and I'm not going to waste my time. Because that's why if I can go to a place that's private, then I know my chances go up versus hunting them down in the national forest. I'll do it all the time. And I've got 10 or 12 or 13 places private that I can call people up right now and come and have an 80% chance of getting them. It's just time. Do I have time enough for that? And life is busy for all of us.
It really is. Wendell wants to know if he's invited to the cookout. I'm like, yeah.
Wendell, I have told you you're invited. I've got to get down there to Wendell and see him in the Alabama Gold Camp. I have been wanting to go down there. Been a big fan of. I have a prospecting Western history section that would blow most libraries away. So I want to get down there to Wendell to Alabama Gold Camp, and I want to do some panning. I may not find nothing, but I want to find a little speck of color, Hey, make me feel like I'm doing something. Huh?
The gold, you go and pan the fake gold in the Smokies when you're little. I used to love that shit.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, good movie. Of course, Wendell is invited. He's going to, I'm going to come down to Alabama. I've had reports from Alabama Gold Camp. I've just got to find them and get them to the right, because Wendell may know the people,
Wendell knows everybody.
Hey, that's a good thing. That's a good thing, Wendell. But I'll try to call you tomorrow, Wendell, and we'll talk. And I hadn't got a chance to talk to Wendell since we got out of the woods.
Yeah, I need to get all the details for that camp out as well, because I'm planning on coming unless I say there's a cold front coming in and it's just not a waste of time and get marred down. But yeah, maybe I can even scoop by Wendell's house and get him if he won't smoke in my truck.
Yeah, just let me know, and we'll pump it up more before we get there. Let's just get through the next week, right?
I'm basically in a waiting further instruction situation. I wasn't too worried about it.
Cool.
Well, I can get to Calhoun County.
Oh yeah. But yeah, man, it's a fascinating subject. I don't think hopefully I'll know one. I've seen them. I've got them on recorder. Got it on audio, I've got it on thermal, and it's just, I don't know, something I'll never ever stop doing. I don't think,
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yep. And so have you seen a creature? Heard one? No. I think you probably realize it.
That's very possible. Because I've been in the woods a lot growing up. I mean, a lot.
Well, and a lot of people, I have a lot of people that have never seen anything, and they pass away, and then the grandkids will see it on their land, and you wonder, did the grandfather see it? Did they, have a good friend? His uncle had a place in close to Margaret where all this activity was at, and they would do picking on Friday nights. Have 100 people would show up, and they would pick and sing gospel singing. And he told me when his uncle died, he got the property. He said, I think I got Bigfoot on him. I said, what are you talking about? So we went up there and put audio recorders out, and they were hollering. And what we kind of figured is whenever they would play the music, these creatures will come listen to people play. It happens all the time. They like music. And some to find out, we speculate that maybe his uncle knew they were there, just didn't ever say anything to anybody. So a lot of fascinating stories in Alabama about Bigfoot.
Yeah, like if you're a normal person like that, those old timers, they don't even like texting on the phone, or they don't like to joke much because they don't want to be made fun of or seen as weak. So I can't imagine if they actually saw like there's something. They're not going to tell anybody.
Oh yeah. Well, at Creepy Mountain, when I went to where they did the find an episode Bigfoot in Alabama, I had a lady tell me she was 85 years old, and she told me over eating a pecan pie with her that she saw one swing through the trees like an ape. And I said, "Did you think to tell anybody?" She says, "No, I saw it a couple of times. It just didn't bother me. I'm like, what?" And she's
so much of that.
And she was matter of fact.
85 though.
Yeah, she passed recently. I think she was 90.
She's seen a lot worse than John Woods.
Oh yeah, but up there in Creepy Mountain, there was a lot of people that saw that they just never said anything about it because ridicule, quickest way to lose stuff in the communities, let people think you're crazy. Especially in the South.
There's a Lynchburg, Tennessee, up by me, just up the road. They got that fancy place you can eat, Miss Mary Bobo's, and there's a hostess that eats with you. The place is 200 years old. A hostess sits there with you, and I ask if it's haunted, and she's like, got clam face, like we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, sorry.
But there's a place over in Hollins that has a farm that raises fruit that has big old 12-foot fences around the fruit. And I give him a card. I give it to his wife a long time ago. She says they're there. He says they're not, because their fruit had come up eaten over a couple of days, and they claim it's deer. But then again, I've got a lot of reports from that whole close area, so I think it's creatures. They just want
a lot of
deer. Oh yeah, 12-foot 5 deer. Fence, and that's noticeable to me. I think they're just trying to keep creatures out.
You think I'll let you go.
No, I'm good.
But do you think the government will ever admit it?
I don't know. You got the government pretty much. People knows the Kennedy thing and all that. They're not admitting that. Not really. I don't think. I think the only way it come out if one's discovered, and then it'll be. I think it'll be like we've seen them the whole time. I believe it's a wood ape. I just think it's highly. I mean, it's like a deer. You don't see a deer everywhere. It's just. I don't know. Who knows? It's just invasive.
I can't wait. I don't want something like that to die, but like if it got hit by like a semi truck because it got into some bad berries, just to see one.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, and you never know. We live in a crazy age. I didn't think UFO disclosure would be so close either.
The UFO thing escalated quickly.
Well, now once again, the UFO thing is going to get into bureaucracy, like the government always is about, because now they're pretty much admitting that this UFO group is fighting with this UFO group, and you got the Huntsville folks doing their thing up where you're at. So it's like, okay, guys, when y'all figure it out, let us know they're real.
Hey, just give us a body. Let us poke at it.
Yeah, I mean, but it's interesting because a lot of people are afraid of what it will do to religion and all that, but I don't know. We're in a crazy world right now. Who knows?
I mean, I don't think it would do anything to my particular religion. Of course, I'm not like a man of the cloth or anything, but I don't think it would discount that a big creator that created billions of planets can make another one with a life on it.
Exactly. But I think if it does mess with anybody, it would be the people that's close-minded, like we always have.
The people trying to control us.
Oh yeah,
with religion.
Well, and that's a whole other subject in itself. Yeah, exactly. Well, man, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, this was fun. This needed to happen. Audio issues be damned.
Man, it's sometimes it's just a weird life we live.
Especially with podcasts, because everybody's got something different and it's all thrown together bubble gum and duct tape.
But like you said, I love listening to encounters. I can listen to.
Oh yeah.
And what gets me is it's such a place. It's such a good thing for people for podcasting because it gives everybody a voice. I mean, it's amazing some of the stuff that's out there.
You can pretty much start from the mailroom of your own radio show and just experiment and boost your way up. I've kind of got like the secret path, or not secret path, but like one of the ways to grow kind of fast. I've kind of discovered it along the way, and I'm trying to implement a plan to where I can fast track that, but we'll see.
Yeah,
because I really want to do it for a living.
Well, and it's that if you can do it, there's a lot of cool stuff out there happening, especially in the paranormal world. It's growing, and I don't know. I think it's all going to get crazy here soon, and it already is.
It all started with COVID. It started going downhill.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's when I quit listening to conspiracy theories because it scared me with COVID. Shit got real.
Well, after a while with the conspiracy theories, they're good. You just have to be not caught up in the conspiracy part of the theory. Because I think the whole term conspiracy theory was started by the CIA.
Yep, for Kennedy.
But we live in such an information world where years ago people would travel months to get to Mecca or wherever. Now we're stupid and we've got all the knowledge in our hands.
You get to Mecca in the afternoon.
Yeah, and back. Yeah, you'll look at live cameras on it now. Well, Bobby, thank you for having me on, my friend.
All right. Yeah. Look forward to meeting everybody in person November.
Yeah, and share this to the page, and I'll get it on, and I'll talk to you in a couple of days, my friend. Okay.
I think it's already there.
And maybe hold on. Let me see why I'm talking to you. I'm gonna check it because I'm bad about approving stuff. I gotta get me somebody to approve it. I mean,
you were on here, so you were gonna see it.
Let me see. There we go. There we go.
This is not a podcast episode.
So you work on the depot, right? I disapproved it. Perfect.
I work on Redstone, not Anniston.
Redstone. How long has Redstone been in operation?
40s. My building was built in 58.
They say there's secrets up there.
Yeah. There is.
Exactly.
That's where the Nazis.
Huh?
That's where the Nazis were.
That's what people don't realize. Operation Paperclip. I mean, we integrated a lot of them suckers into us.
They're all here.
Yeah. All righty, man. Well, listen, take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you in a couple of days, okay?
Thanks for watching, Wendell.
Thank you, my friend.